Welcome back to the channel. Today you won't believe this. 4 ordinary-looking Monticello Jefferson nickels, badly worn, scratched, and in terrible condition, could actually be worth millions of dollars. These are state-related Jefferson nickels that most people would ignore or even throw away, but hidden errors, rare strikes, and historical mistakes turned them into priceless treasures. Before you spend or discard any old nickel, watch this video carefully, because one bad condition coin in your pocket could change your life. Let's begin. First up, the 1969 Jefferson nickel with no mint mark is a United States 5-cent coin struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and the absence of a mint mark is normal for Philadelphia coins of that era, making it not a mint error but an identifying feature. And this coin belongs to the long-running Jefferson nickel series that began in 1938, designed by Felix Schlag, with the obverse showing a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, and the reverse depicting Monticello, Jefferson's famous Virginia estate, and in 1969 the coin was composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel, giving it a durable structure that allows many examples to survive decades of circulation, which explains why heavily worn pieces are still commonly found today. When a 1969 Jefferson nickel is described as Casa Hoa Wa, heavily worn, it usually means the high points of Jefferson's hair, cheek, jawline, and collar are smooth, the lettering such as Liberty, and the date may be weak or partially flat, and on the reverse the steps of Monticello are worn away, sometimes completely smooth, yet if the coin still, Chamak Raha high, appears shiny, this shine often comes from natural metal exposure due to long circulation, cleaning, polishing, or friction, and while shine alone does not increase value, it can make the coin visually attractive. Historically, 1969 was a year of high nickel production, with hundreds of millions minted in Philadelphia, making this date common, not rare by mintage numbers, but condition plays a very important role in value, because most surviving coins are circulated, and uncirculated examples with full original luster and sharp details are much harder to find. A heavily worn 1969 no mint mark Jefferson nickel typically falls into good G, very good VG, or fine F condition, and in such grades its market value is usually close to face value, 5 cents, sometimes slightly higher for bulk collectors, but it does not reach high prices unless there is a major mint error, such as an off-center strike, broad strike, clipped planchet, double strike, or rare die variety, and minor scratches, corrosion, dark color, or cleaning marks usually reduce value, not increase it. However, collectors still study worn coins carefully because errors can exist even on damaged or circulated pieces, and a worn coin with a genuine error can be worth significantly more than a normal example. From a numismatic education point of view, the 1969 Jefferson nickel is important because it represents the pre-modern era of U.S. coinage before major design changes and before the widespread use of modern minting technology, and it reflects everyday American commerce during the late 1960s, a time of social and economic change in the United States. Many people mistakenly believe that old coins automatically become valuable, but in reality, age alone does not create value. Rarity, demand, condition, and errors are the key factors, and for the 1969 no mint mark nickel, rarity comes mostly from high-grade uncirculated examples or coins with full steps FS on Monticello, which are very rare and can be valuable, but a heavily worn piece, even if shiny, is usually kept for learning, collecting by date, sentimental reasons, or content creation such as educational YouTube videos. Despite its low market price, the coin still holds historical, educational, and cultural value, especially for beginner collectors, because it teaches how to identify mint marks, understand wear patterns, recognize cleaning damage, and appreciate the durability of U.S. coinage, and many collectors in countries like Pakistan, India, and other regions enjoy studying U.S. coins because of their global circulation influence and strong design history, making the 1969 Jefferson nickel a meaningful example of everyday American money that has survived more than half a century of use, handling, and circulation. Next up, the 1977 Monticello Jefferson nickel with no mint mark is a United States 5-cent coin struck at the Philadelphia Mint, where coins traditionally did not carry a mint mark during that period, and this coin is part of the long-running Jefferson nickel series that began in 1938, featuring a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello, his historic Virginia home, on the reverse. The coin is made of 75% copper and 25% nickel, and because of its copper content, it can develop green spots or green corrosion, often called verdigris, when exposed to moisture, chemicals, soil, or improper storage for long periods of time, especially in humid environments, and when such green stains appear on Jefferson's face or other parts of the coin, it is a sign of chemical reaction and surface damage, not a mint error, and unfortunately this type of corrosion usually reduces the coin's market value rather than increasing it. In terms of condition, when the coin is described as Casa Hoa Wa, heavily worn, it typically means that Jefferson's facial details, such as hair strands, cheekbones, jawline, and collar, are smooth or flat. The date and word, Liberty, may be weak or partially worn, and on the reverse the fine details of Monticello, including the steps and columns, are mostly gone, which places the coin in good G, very good VG, or fine F grade, and in such worn condition, especially with green corrosion present, the coin is considered circulated and damaged from a numismatic perspective. Regarding market value, a normal 1977 Jefferson nickel without mint mark is a very common coin, with hundreds of millions produced, and in heavily worn condition with corrosion or green spots. Its value is usually close to face value, 5 cents, and in many markets it may sell for 5 cents to 15 cents USD, depending on collector interest, while clean circulated examples without corrosion might bring slightly more in bulk lots, but individual damaged coins do not command premium prices. However, collectors and coin enthusiasts still carefully inspect such coins because mint errors, such as off-center strikes, clipped planchettes, broad strikes, double strikes, or dramatic die cracks, can exist even on worn coins, and a genuine major error can increase value significantly. Though green corrosion itself is not an error, many people mistakenly believe that green color means rarity or age value, but in reality it indicates metal deterioration, and attempts to clean or remove green spots often cause further damage and leave hairline scratches, which reduces value even more, so professional collectors advise not to clean coins. Despite its low monetary value, the 1977 no-mint mark Jefferson nickel still holds educational, historical, and cultural importance, as it represents everyday American money from the late 1970s, a time of economic change, inflation concerns, and heavy coin circulation, and for collectors in countries outside the United States, including South Asia, such coins are interesting because they demonstrate U.S. minting quality, long-lasting metal composition, and real-world circulation wear patterns, making the coin useful for learning grading, identifying corrosion versus errors, and understanding why condition matters more than age. And while this particular coin in heavily worn condition with green spots is not valuable in the high-price market, it remains meaningful as a teaching example, a starter collectible, or content material for educational YouTube videos about misunderstood coins that look unusual but are common in reality. Next up, the 1973 D. Monticello Jefferson nickel is a United States 5-cent coin struck at the Denver Mint, identified by the D. mint mark located on the obverse near the date, and it belongs to the classic Jefferson nickel series that began in 1938, designed by Felix Schlag, with the obverse showing a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson and the reverse featuring Monticello, Jefferson's historic home in Virginia. This coin is composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel, a strong alloy that allows coins to survive decades of heavy circulation, which is why many 1973D nickels found today are described as Casa Hoa Wa, heavily worn, meaning Jefferson's hair details, cheek, jawline, and collar are smooth or flat, the word, liberty, and the date may be weak, and on the reverse the steps, columns, and fine lines of Monticello are mostly worn away. When a coin also shows cut marks, deep scratches, or edge damage, Lugay Hawaii Nishan, this usually indicates post-mint damage, caused by tools, machines, accidental cuts, or rough handling during circulation, and such damage is not a mint error, which is very important for collectors to understand, because while mint errors happen during the striking process at the mint, cuts and gouges occur later and almost always reduce the coin's value. Historically, the year 1973 saw very large production numbers at the Denver Mint, making the 1973D Jefferson nickel a common date, widely available in circulated condition, and because of this high mintage, rarity does not come from the date itself but from exceptional condition, such as uncirculated examples with original luster or rare full steps FS details on Monticello, which are extremely difficult to find and valuable, but a heavily worn coin with cut marks falls into lower grades such as good G, very good VG, or fine F, sometimes even considered damaged, depending on the severity of the cuts. In terms of market value, a normal 1973D Jefferson nickel in heavily worn condition without damage is usually worth face value, 5 cents, or slightly more in bulk, but when deep cuts, tool marks, corrosion, or edge damage are present, the value often stays at or below face value, and such coins are typically not sought by serious collectors unless they are used for educational purposes, error comparison, or content creation. However, collectors still carefully examine worn and damaged coins because genuine mint errors, such as off-center strikes, clipped planchettes, broad strikes, die cracks, or double strikes, can exist even on circulated coins, and if a real mint error is confirmed, value can increase dramatically, but random cuts, straight scratches, or sharp gouges with exposed metal or strong signs of after-mint damage, not errors. Many people believe that heavy wear or visible damage makes a coin rare, but in reality, condition is one of the most important factors in numismatics, and damage almost always lowers value, even on older coins. Despite its low monetary worth in damaged condition, the 1973D Jefferson nickel still holds historical and educational importance, as it represents everyday American money from the early 1970s, a period of economic change, inflation, and heavy coin circulation, and for collectors outside the United States, such as in South Asia, these coins are interesting examples of U.S. minting quality, metal durability, and real-world circulation wear, helping new collectors learn how to distinguish between mint errors and damage, how to grade worn coins, and why professional collectors advise never to clean or repair coins, because cleaning leaves hairline scratches and reduces value even further. And although a heavily worn, cut-marked 1973D Jefferson nickel is not valuable in the high-priced market, it remains meaningful as a learning piece, a beginner collection coin, or a discussion subject for videos and articles explaining why some coins look unusual but are common and damaged rather than rare. Next up, the 1986D Monticello Jefferson nickel is a United States 5-cent coin struck at the Denver Mint, identified by the D mint mark on the obverse near the date, and it belongs to the long-running Jefferson nickel series that began in 1938, featuring a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the front and Monticello, his historic Virginia home, on the reverse. The coin is made from a strong alloy of 75% copper and 25% nickel, and although nickels are resistant to rust, the copper inside the metal can react with moisture, air, chemicals, or soil over time, causing green stains or green corrosion, commonly called verdigris, which often appears as green, dark green, or bluish-green spots, especially on raised areas like Jefferson's face, hair, and cheek. When people see green color on a coin, they often believe it means rarity or special value, but in reality, this green color is a sign of chemical damage, not a mint error, and it usually forms when coins are stored in humid environments, plastic bags, leather wallets, or buried conditions, and once this corrosion starts, it can slowly eat into the metal surface if not stabilized. From a grading point of view, a 1986 D Jefferson nickel with heavy green spots and surface damage is considered circulated and damaged, even if the main design details are still visible, and this kind of corrosion almost always reduces the coin's market value, because collectors prefer clean, original surfaces without chemical damage. In terms of market value, the 1986 D Jefferson nickel is a very common coin, with large numbers produced by the Denver Mint, and in average circulated condition it is usually worth face value 5 cents, while heavily corroded or green-stained examples often sell for no more than face value and sometimes less in bulk lots, and only uncirculated coins with strong original luster or rare full steps FS detail on Monticello command higher prices. However, collectors still examine even damaged coins carefully, because genuine mint errors, such as off-center strikes, clipped planchettes, broad strikes, or dramatic die cracks, can occur on any date, but green corrosion itself is not an error and does not add value. Despite its low monetary worth in this condition, the 1986 D Jefferson nickel remains interesting and educational, as it clearly shows how environmental exposure affects modern U.S. coinage, and it helps collectors learn the difference between mint-caused features and post-mint damage. And for coin enthusiasts outside the United States, including South Asia, such coins are popular study pieces because they demonstrate the durability of U.S. alloys, long circulation life, and the importance of proper storage. Many experts strongly advise not to clean green corrosion at home, because cleaning can scratch the surface and permanently lower the coin's value, and if preservation is desired, professional conservation is the only safe method, though it is usually not cost-effective for common-date nickels like 1986 D. Overall, while a 1986 D Jefferson nickel with heavy green stains on Jefferson's face is not rare or valuable in the collector market, it remains a meaningful example of everyday American history, chemistry on coins, and real-world circulation effects, making it useful for learning, teaching, or creating educational coin-related content. Please like and subscribe to my channel.